One of the best and boldest animated series that has come from Netflix undoubtedly is BoJack Horseman. As hilarious and entertaining as it is, the show also dives into the untouched depths of many real-world experiences. BoJack has highlighted many hot-button themes, including addiction, existential crisis, politics, and all sorts of other stuff.
Goddamn.
With a lot of sly humor, this edgy show is unusually realistic. So much so that it's a bit scary. What's even scarier is how dedicated the show's fans have been to coming up with all sorts of dark and creepy theories. I'm Brad with Wicked Binge, and these are dark theories about BoJack Horseman that will make you question life.
Really? You've never heard of my TV show?
The main cast represent the stages of grief. There's more to life than just existing. Our mind is a phenomenal organ and lets us perceive all sorts of different feelings, from happiness to sorrow. Just in case you didn't know, a psychiatrist named Elizabeth Kubler-Ross put forth the theory of the 5 stages of grief. They are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And you're probably thinking, how does it relate to BoJack Horseman, am I right? Whoa, I'm telepathic? I just read your mind! Oh, wait, it was just our title card. Never mind. Don't have powers, I'm useless. Okay, so Reddit user, Hoodie Sleeve, suggests that the main characters of BoJack Horseman represent these 5 stages of grief, describing Mr. Peanut Butter as denial, Miss Diane as anger, Princess Carolyn as bargaining, BoJack definitely as depression, and Todd as acceptance. This theory perfectly explains the nature of these characters. Let's analyze one by one, shall we? Mr. Peanut Butter has been through serious life events, which he has ignored conveniently.
Time for talk is over.
For example, he never addresses the seriousness of his brother's illness, even when Diane tells him about it. What's weirder is he seems to adamantly believe that his parents are happily living on the farm, away from the city.
When my mom got old, she moved to a farm.
What?
Out in the country.
Until finally, in season 5, he realizes that they've actually been dead for years. Mr. Peanut Butter really can't accept these negative life events.
Oh my God, she's dead. My mom is dead.
Slight hints of anger are seen in Diane Wynn. Her childhood may have fueled her need of proving herself and made her a bit aggressive.
Why would you want to stick around, be with your family in their time of need?
Come on, Ma.
We often seen her clenching her fists and getting frustrated because of other people not really listening to her. She may not Hulk out, but she does feel the rage running through her veins. Princess Carolyn is the most obvious of all. As the manifestation of bargaining, she immerses herself in her work completely. She's even seen making and breaking promises to herself. You'll even notice her trying to grip Sadie while adopting her baby.
I wish my boyfriend would have taken his penis out of the girl.
The 4th phase, that is, depression, is unequivocally the main character of the story, BoJack. All the scenes where he wakes up and groans reflects the dejection he feels inside. Now coming to an end, acceptance is Todd. He's mostly positive about whatever stands in his way, even if that means giving away his entire fortune by mistake. He never frets about anything, and is blissfully innocent about the darker side of life.
What if dentists had a friendlier face?
We're convinced that the creators of this series had the exact 5 stages in mind while sketching the characters. What do you think? Mr. Peanut Butter is manipulating everyone. Have you ever heard of Occam's razor theory? No? Well, it's a philosophical principle stating that a theory requiring minimum assumptions is likely to be possible. So, the simplest explanation almost always wins.
Did you fix my door? That is a move, buddy.
Looking at Mr. Peanut Butter's behavior, the plainest interpretation is that he is an absolute dunce. But Reddit user, Moral Mountain Lady, puts forward quite an opposite suggestion. Instead of being a half-wit, Mr. Peanut Butter is overly smart and manipulative. How is it that he always gets what he wants career-wise, woman-wise, and messing with BoJack-wise? You get what I'm saying?
Our first priority is creating a safe space for women.
Mr. Peanut Butter always knows what he needs, so he does everything methodically and deliberately and manipulates people for his benefit. He got his first break when he was just roaming around on the sets of Vincent D'Onofrio's show. Pretending to not know about the crew, set, and audience, he spontaneously started improvising. His liveliness was noticed, and he was immediately hired.
I want your face on billboards, you beautiful, nonsensical clown prince.
He does things that nobody asked him to do, and they turn out to be exactly those things that the person he's doing it for hated. Well, then Peanut Butter sobs over the fact that he's not adored for his grand gestures. Take, for example, Diane's surprise party. He always dates women in their 20s, and he is in his 50s. BoJack and he are near the same age. Well, one could argue that younger women, well, people in general, are easier to manipulate because they're younger and naive. He says that the women who left him are ruined, likely because they don't listen to him anymore. And well, how can we forget Mr. Peanut Butter's incidences with BoJack? Annoying him, embarrassing him on live television, getting himself cast on Filbert and stealing BoJack's limelight? Don't sound like coincidences to me at all. What do you think? So, summing it all, Mr. Peanut Butter is more than just an innocent and a positive person. He's super smart and manipulative. BoJack will kill himself while show goes on. The series, through all of its 6 seasons, have been based on feelings which are relevant in the real world. It explores dark, truthful, and uncomfortable aspects of society and people. It loosely describes the world as a cold and indifferent place where whatever you think and feel doesn't matter. We're not guaranteed to have our own share of happiness.
I was gonna, but then I remembered that everything is garbage, so why bother doing anything?
So, Reddit user JackDish11 says that during the show, BoJack will end his life. But the show will go on without even addressing his death as all the significant. That's pretty dark. Also in one of the episodes, Sarah Lynn describes her death. What's scary is she died in exactly the same manner. In a later part of the series, we see BoJack shouting in his pre-Oscar nomination party that there will be plenty of people around when he kills himself.
There's gonna be plenty of people around when I kill myself.
Well, even in the real world, there exist idioms and phrases which kind of could hint towards this situation. Ever heard of beating a dead horse? Regardless, the themes and tone of this show would definitely be in line with this sort of plot twist, but whether or not the creators would actually pull the trigger on such a bold decision is uncertain. BoJack cares about Hollyhock. Butterscotch Horseman and Patrice's maid had an illegitimate daughter who was revealed to be Hollyhock. In Season 5, an episode called Ancient History witnesses the return of BoJack's half-sister, and the two of them have little adventures of their own. Having found a brother, Hollyhock is obviously overwhelmed and happy, and when she's about to leave, she says she loves him, and BoJack never says anything in return. But why?
I love you.
Reddit user Carnage678 has come up with an answer. BoJack has always been a person who struggles in keeping close relationships with people. He's always been the one to hurt and lose people in his life because of his destructive nature. Rewinding back to Season 4, in an episode called Stupid Piece of Shit, we see BoJack's mind from within. He keeps belittling himself, constantly insulting himself. We come to know to what extent BoJack embraces self-loathing.
You piece of garbage. You're a piece of garbage. A real piece of garbage.
Towards the end of the episode, Hollyhock asks him if this little voice inside his head disappears. He lies to her and says that it does go away, and that is purely because he did not want her to worry more about him. This shows that he does care.
It goes away, right? It's just like a dumb teenage girl thing.
By not telling Hollyhock that he loves her, he protected her from himself. If she wouldn't care, she wouldn't be hurt by his behavior like Sarah, Herb, Penny, and Gina. BoJack is worried about taking away Hollyhock's innocence if he gets close to her. BoJack will read his father's novel. During the show, we don't really get to know much about BoJack's father, Butterscotch Horseman, albeit we get to know fairly much about his mother and her familial history. We only know that he comes from a blue-collar background, and his mother died when he was quite young. Because of Butterscotch's underdeveloped character, Reddit user Mr. Watkins83 thinks that he would be the focal point in the upcoming seasons.
You go around the horn the way God intended.
In Season 5, we come to know that Butterscotch's novel, A Horse That Couldn't Be Broken, did not do well after getting published. His novel wasn't getting reviewed by any newspaper and was not a huge success as he anticipated. His frustration ultimately led to his death. In Season 5, we also come to know that BoJack has never read his father's novel, and BoJack is definitely gonna go to rehab because of his behavior. I mean, you would imagine he would get free time during his rehab, so he will read it, and will find meaning in those words.
What do I say when I go in?
This will help him connect to his father's character, his history, and give him a deeper understanding of his behavior. This book will serve as a medium for BoJack to bond with his father. This novel will be a biographical fiction. Obviously, since both BoJack and Butterscotch are shown to be very concerned about what other people in society would think of them, the main character in the novel will be depicted in the best possible light. But irrespective of what they want, because of their nature, the main character will also be deeply flawed. All of this will definitely be reflected in the book. BoJack will then be so moved by those writings that he would contact his Hollywood gang and convince them to create a film adaptation out of it. In short, BoJack will read his father's novel in rehab and turn it into a movie. BoJack Horseman is very bold and at times a very dark show. Do you have any dark theories about BoJack Horseman? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. But most importantly, stay wicked.